Hello friends! Today I'll tell you the summary of a 2007 Japanese action fantasy film called Dororu, Legend of Warrior. On the battlefield, several soldiers finish off their wounded opponents. Noticing the enemy, they pierce him with their spears, but the man remains alive. The wounded Kagemitsu Daigo returns to his homeland. Breaking his chains, he enters the temple housing 48 demonic figures. For the sake of world domination, he is willing to sacrifice everything and agree to a deal with the demons. Hearing rustling behind him, Kagemitsu hacks the mouse in half. The demon possessing the creature declares that Daigo must sacrifice the child he is carrying to his pregnant wife. Kagemitsu makes a bargain under this terrible condition. A monk enters the temple, warning Daigo of the danger, but he kills him. Since then, 20 years have passed. A thief pretending to be a man steals bags of gold from several locals and tries to escape. At the same time, a dance show takes place in the wine cellar. A man walks around the hall offering fortune-telling and sits down beside the mysterious guy. Having seen his hand, the fortune-teller cannot believe his eyes, as the young man should have died long ago. Waiting for the main dancer, Hekamaru heads to the stage and attacks her. It turned out that behind the mask of a girl hides a horrible spider. After entering the clash with the arthropod, the main character kills the monster, which turns out to be a demon. The thief, trying to evade pursuers, hides in the cellar and witnesses the fight. After the fight, the guy falls to the floor and part of his leg falls off. A new leg immediately grows in its place, which frightens the girl. Despite what she saw, she is amazed by Hekamaru's strength and courage, so she decides to follow him. Upon approaching the old man, the boy tells him that he is not ready to return his sword, as not all demons have been killed. Noticing that Hekamaru is familiar with the elderly legend teller, the thief heads to the man and asks him to tell him about the warrior. 20 years ago there lived a shaman engaged in healing. One morning he was gathering medicinal herbs as usual until he noticed a basin floating down the river. Pulling the basin out of the water, he saw a creepy baby body devoid of eyes, mouth, nose, and other organs. Using his skills and knowledge, the shaman decided to give the child a new body. To do so, he used the body parts of children who had died in the war. By creating a magic elixir, using an electrical discharge, the shaman was able to make a heart and place it in the child's body, able to heal his wounds from now on. A traveling narrator who came to the shaman's house saw strange creatures hovering over the boy's body. It turned out that demons were constantly visiting the healer's home and trying to attack the defenseless child. After cutting the strings of his musical instrument, the narrator gave the shaman a special sword that allows him to kill the demons. As soon as the boy could move, the shaman set about training him to wield the weapon hidden in his hands. Hekamaru trained daily, constantly improving his fighting skills. Before he died, the shaman asked that his house be burned down so that his discoveries would not fall into the hands of evil men. Also, the young man's named father told him about the existence of demons, the killing of which would allow him to regain body parts and organs. A pursuing thief, Hekamaru asks him to give his real name. The warrior replies that he has many names, which he got because of his strange body and exploits. On being asked a counter question, the girl replies that she has no name, as it is easier to trace and locate the thief. Choosing one of her favorite name choices, Hekamaru, the thief decides to call herself Dororu. The samurai tries to get rid of the annoying girl, but she calls herself a man and has no intention of leaving him. Stopping by the water, Dororu and Hekamaru see a huge, scary baby. The frightened girl asks to kill the monster, but the boy explains that this baby is made up of dozens of children's souls. The huge ghost leads Hekamaru to a fire-ravaged orphanage. It turns out that the poor parents couldn't feed the children, so they put them in an orphanage to be taken care of there. In the forest, Hekamaru and Dororu meet a man on a horse. He invites them to his home, offering shelter and food in exchange for interesting travel stories. At Sabami's house, Hekamaru sees 7 identical girls, the daughters of a married couple. During dinner, the owner of the house talks about the orphanage and the nuns caring for the abandoned children. He reports that the building and all who were in it burned down due to a lightning strike. Dororu and Hekamaru go to bed. The little girls, sitting in a circle of a burning candle, are discussing who is going to eat whom. It turns out they aren't Sabami's daughters, but creepy cannibal worms. After infiltrating the bedroom, they attack Dororu, but Hekamaru defends the thief, killing the worms in a matter of seconds. Seeing a huge baby on the street, they go in the direction they pointed and find an underground tunnel. Inside, Dororu discovers human remains, including babies and worm eggs. Once outside, they realize that they find themselves in a burnt-out monastery. It is now clear to Hekamaru that the children were not killed by the elements, but by monsters. The village tycoon's wife is a monster and must be killed. Dororu hastens to tell the villagers this by showing them the eggs of worms. Hekamaru fights Sabami, but his wife pierces the men with a ball, hoping to kill both. Hekamaru heals and attacks the woman, turning into a demon with wings consisting of eyes. The wife of the slain Sabami tries to fly away. The children's souls bring her back to Earth, allowing Hekamaru to strike the demon with his blade hidden in his left hand. The souls of the dead children are saved, so they leave our world. Hekamaru becomes ill and falls to the ground, spitting out his liver. He gets a new organ. The locals who see this think the young man is a demon, so they chase Dororu and Hekamaru out of the village, throwing rocks in their wake. As they continue on their journey, the protagonists encounter several more demons along the way. First, Hekamaru destroys a peach tree with a huge head and gains new ears, allowing him to hear Dororu's voice. He then fights a Godzilla-like monster. The monster's long tongue tries to grab Hekamaru, and Dororu helps him defeat the demon. After killing another monster, the guy regains another organ, his throat. And after defeating the demon, in the form of an eagle, Hekamaru gets his right arm in return. Before he dies, the bird reports that the boy's biological father is to blame, Kagemitsu Daigo, who sold his body to 48 demons. After setting several foes aside, Hekamaru and Dororu continue on their way and stop at the former state border. Here the thief talks about Kagemitsu Daigo, the murderer of her parents. She wants revenge by killing not only Daigo, but also his entire clan. Dororu's father was killed by soldiers and her mother is frozen to death. Soon 3 soldiers from the house of Kagemitsu arrive at the border and attack the travelers. They easily defeat the samurai, but do not kill them as they are common people. In the Daigo kingdom, Hekamaru is attacked by several men, but he easily deals with them. Tahamaru, son of Kojimitsu, who is impressed with Hekamaru's fighting skills and offers to stand in for him. At King Yuri's house, Daigo's wife and Tahamaru's mother greet the new guest. Noticing Hekamaru's costume, she walks closer to him and realizes that he is her eldest son. Daigo wanted to kill the infant sold by the demon, but the woman rescued the child and placed his body in a basin that floated down the river. Touching his mother, Hekamaru realizes Tahamaru is his brother and Daigo is his father, having sold his son to the devil in exchange for land. It turns out that Hekamaru's real name is Tahamaru and she has named her younger son after the child who left the royal house 20 years ago. Traveling narrator Dororu and Hekamaru discuss all that they have learned over the past few days. The thief feels hatred for Daigo, but she wants to remain human, so she is willing to give up revenge. With tears in her eyes, she forgives her parents' murderer and asks Hekamaru to do the same and not kill her father. At this point they are attacked by 2 demons in the form of hellhounds. They ask the guys to stop or else kill themselves, ending the demon hunt. Hekamaru isn't going to give up, so he kills the dogs in one move, getting his eyes back. Yuri wants to see his eldest son again and tries to leave the kingdom. Tahamaru stops his mother and demands that the soldiers not let her out. Several of the queen's personal guards try to protect her, but the samurai serving her son kill them. Tahamaru and 3 soldiers set out to meet Hekamaru. He wants to kill his elder brother and become Daigo's sole heir, gaining all the conquered lands after his death. At the same time, Kagemitsu muses aloud that he sacrificed everything to become the ruler of the world, but 20 years of bloody wars have passed and he still can't get his hands on all the lands. A demon who appears says that the problem is his essence of humanity. The child, the sold-out demon, had to be killed. It is Hekamaru who is the source of all trouble, the only obstacle to the fulfillment of his dream. Daigo believes the demon and heads to the border to kill his eldest son. Tahamaru's subordinates, along with the prince, approach Hekamaru and shoot him with a cannon. Hekamaru defends. Upon arrival, the 3 samurai engage in a fight with the heir's older brother Daigo. Hekamaru defends himself masterfully, but he fails to kill the reliably equipped soldiers. By chance, 2 samurai kill each other by plunging spears into each other's necks. A 3rd warrior attacks Hekamaru and the guy's sword splits in 2. Placing his enemy on the ground, he kills the soldier. Looking up, Hekamaru realizes that the blade of his sword has flown into Tahamaru's throat, killing his brother. Yuri, who has arrived on the battlefield, sees the corpse of her youngest son. Reaching for the knife, she wants to take revenge on Hyakkimaru, but cannot bury her two sons at once. Noticing Daigo approaching, Yuri runs towards her husband and tries to stop him. Kagemitsu kills the queen and sees the corpse of his youngest son. Enraged, he tries to finish what he started and kill his eldest son, but Hyakkimaru has slayed no demons, his fighting skills surpassing his father's. The young man injures Daigo, but has no intention of killing him, for vengeance will not cure the soul. The demon possessing Kahamaru's body offers Kagemitsu a deal. He must surrender all of his lands and his body. In exchange, the demon resurrects his youngest son and someday gives him the conquered territories. Hyakkimaru asks his father not to give in to his entreaties, but Daigo is willing to do anything to resurrect Kahamaru. Kagemitsu allows the demon to take over his body. Once it happens, the evil spirit forgets all its promises and rejoices in its ability to possess a human flesh. With great willpower, Daigo regains control of his body and pierces his belly with a sword, then asks Hyakkimaru to put an end to the demon living inside him. After regaining control, the demon tries to escape, but Hyakkimaru mortally wounds the evil spirit and his father. Dororu wants Daigo to apologize to his eldest son before he dies, but he doesn't. Instead, he asks the thief to look after Hyakkimaru. Rising from his knees, he steps back a few meters and vanishes into thin air. Screaming in pain, Hyakkimaru falls to the ground. Killing the demon that infiltrated Daigo allowed him to regain his heart. An army of the Kagemitsu family surrounds the travelers, but Tahamaru gives orders to lower their weapons. Upon his return to the kingdom, Tahamaru asks his older brother to take over the lands and rule them. Since this is more difficult than he thought, Hyakkimaru does not want to take on this burden, for he has a more important and responsible mission. 24 demons continue to exist in the world, as he has only killed half of them. Teaming up with Dororu, Hyakkimaru sets off on a journey, leaving the lands of the kingdom to her younger brother. Dororu finally decides that she is a man and can only be a friend to Hyakkimaru. He is happy with this option. And that's the end of my story. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate my work with likes. It's the best motivation to keep working and creating cool content. Share your impressions about the movie in the comments and subscribe to the channel not to miss new videos. See you in the next video. Bye everyone.